The calls for help had fallen silent. The radio crackle died. All that was left was the whistle of the wind through the rocks of Hell's Gate. 6 men. A team of Navy SEALs. Pinned down against a canyon wall. The metallic click of the last few rounds in their magazines. The ragged sound of their own breath on the comms. No pilot dared to enter that valley. Too many had tried. None had ever come back. Then. A sound. Distant. A growing rumble. It wasn't a helicopter. It wasn't the sharp whistle of a jet. It was slower. Angrier. The unmistakable roar of 2 TF-34 turbofans tore through the silence. A sound every American soldier recognizes. A sound every enemy has learned to fear. On the comms, a dry cough. Then a voice, broken by tension. No. It can't be. It's a Warthog. Silence followed, for a beat. Broken by another voice. It wasn't a shout. It was a whisper. A sliver of insane, almost forgotten hope. It's her. Warthog. She's back. And in that instant, the rumble became thunder. A sonic shockwave that tore through the air and launched the beginning of our story. But before you find out how it ends, write in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to find out how this incredible story ends. For you it's just a click, for us it's everything. Now hold on tight. 90 minutes earlier? Viper Air Base. Inside the command center, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. From a single speaker, the one wired to the emergency frequencies, a crackling voice fought against the static. They were fragments. Shards of a desperate plea for help. Apex 4. Pinned down. Hell's Gate. Ammo almost zero. Requesting air support. One final crackle. Then, only the hiss of static. In the room, no one moved. No orders were given. It was a heavy silence. An admission of impotence. The valley had already won. Standing in a corner of the room, Major Eva Cross had heard it all. Her gaze wasn't on the screens. It was fixed on the colonel's face, who in turn stared at the map, motionless. It was then that a mechanic entered to deliver a report. Walking past her, he saw her eyes. Saw the barely contained fury. As he left, he whispered 2 words to her. Imperceptible to anyone else. They were the spark that ignited everything. Hell's Gate. Eva's breath caught. Then she took another, deeper one. She turned and, without a word, walked out of the command center. Her determined footsteps echoed down the hall. Her destination, the shadows of Hangar 4. Where Ghost 9 rested. An A-10 Thunderbolt that had seen better days. The shark teeth on the nose. Faded. The panels. Patched. A constant hiss from a leaking hydraulic line. She wasn't even authorized to touch it. The hatch opened with a pneumatic hiss. Eva hoisted herself into the titanium bathtub of the cockpit. 1,400 pounds of armor wrapped around her. The switches flipped with familiar, dry clicks. The tower controller's voice exploded in her headset. Ghost 9, you are not authorized. Shut down the engines immediately. Eva tore the radio cord out with a sharp tug. Silence. The 2 TF-34 engines came to life, a low growl that became a roar. The entire Warthog vibrated. The front landing gear groaned under the weight of 1,350 rounds of depleted uranium in the belly of the beast. From the command center window, the colonel watched the unmistakable profile of the A-10 taxiing to the runway. A controller turned to him, his voice laced with panic. Do we stop her, sir? The colonel never took his eyes off the aircraft. His reply was calm, final. Negative. Let her go. And you keep her frequency clear. Ghost 9 took off. Not with the grace of an F-16. But with the promise of death that only a Warthog could deliver. Hell's Gate swallowed the A-10. The sound of the turbofans changed instantly, bouncing off the narrow walls. The Warthog was built to fly low and slow. But not this low. Not this tight. The proximity alarm began to shriek. Beep beep beep. Incessant. Eva slapped it silent. She needed to focus. Ahead, on the ridge, she saw the silhouettes. Missile teams. Then, she heard the sound that defined modern warfare. BRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRR beer bottle. The entire A-10 slowed from the recoil, like a mechanical dragon unleashing its fury. Eva spoke into the void of the cockpit, her voice steady despite the vibrations. First group eliminated. 1,200 rounds remaining. Her voice crackled over the SEAL's radio. Firm, professional. Apex 4, this is Ghost 9. If you can move, move now. I'll keep the sky clean. Copy, Ghost. The reply came between ragged breaths. We have wounded. 3 clicks from the extraction point. Eva checked the fuel. The needle was visibly dropping. On the radar, 3 new heat signatures. High on the ridges. Pointed skyward. They were waiting for the rescue Chinooks. For a second, just one, her breath hitched inside the mask. Her left hand went to the small pocket on her flight suit. She felt the shape of a small charm. A miniature A-10. Her daughter's voice in her head. From the morning she left. Promise you'll come home, Mommy. Eva spoke again in the silence of her armored cocoon. I'm coming home, sweetie. The Warthog always brings me home. She pushed the TF-34 throttles to the firewall. The engines roared. Ghost 9 engaging. Targets on the southern ridge. Negative, Ghost. A voice from the base yelled. Too risky. Disengage. Eva smiled behind her mask. Negative, Tower. Today, the Ghosts don't get to win. She switched the radio off again. The GAU-8 roared. BRRRRRT. The missile teams answered. A sharp whistle cut through the air. Missile in the air. Not for her. For the inbound Chinook. Missile away. Someone screamed on the open frequency. Eva didn't hesitate. She wrenched the A-10 into a violent turn. The Warthog's straight wings weren't made for aerobatics. The metal groaned under the stress. She put herself on the missile's trajectory. The heat seeker recalculated. The high-mounted engines of the A-10 were a perfect target. Now it was hunting her. The missile's whistle grew closer. The Warthog was slow. Too slow to outrun it. Ghost 9, eject. Eject now. The tower screamed. But Eva only saw one thing. A wall of rock, dead ahead. She pointed the nose of the aircraft right at it. The missile was screaming, just yards away. 3 seconds. She waited for the rock to fill her view. 2. Hands steady on the stick. 1. She pulled back with all her strength. The A-10 didn't climb like an F-16. But it climbed enough. The jet screamed upwards in a howl of tortured metal, clearing the ridge by a few feet. The missile did not. The explosion was titanic. It slammed into the cliff face. The shockwave hit the Warthog like a fist. Crack. The titanium tub held, but the right engine coughed. Sputtered. Died. 1 dead TF-34. But the A-10 was designed to fly on 1. Eva coughed, the taste of copper in her mouth. Blood from her nose trickled under the mask. But the Warthog was still flying. Limping, damaged, but flying. Copy, Ghost. Your hog made it. Christ, you made it. Below her, she saw the dark shape of the Chinook landing in a cloud of dust. She saw the figures of Apex 4 running towards the open ramp, dragging their wounded. Eva made one last, slow pass over them. Her Warthog, its one engine singing a lonely song, was their guardian angel of steel. She had pulled them from the jaws of Hell's Gate. The mission was over. Now, she just had to bring home the pieces. Okay, sweetie. Take me home, she whispered to herself. The landing was brutal. The front gear collapsed. The Warthog scraped along on its armored belly in a scream of tearing metal and sparks. The GAU-8 plowed into the asphalt. Then it stopped. Silence. As Eva climbed down, the mechanic stared at the wreck in an almost religious silence. Half the right wing was gone. But the titanium tub was intact. The plane had done its duty. A black SUV was waiting. A windowless room. A man, sitting. You stole an A-10. You violated restricted airspace. You engaged without authorization. Silence. The man turned a page. And you saved 6 lives, and proved why the Warthog is immortal. He pushed a folder across the table. Eva didn't touch it. Hell's Gate isn't just a canyon. It's an aircraft graveyard. We've lost drones, helicopters, and several fighters trying to provide air support in that zone. High Command has classified flight operations in there as unacceptable. Too high risk. And yet, our special forces must continue to operate there. The man leaned back. He opened the folder. Inside was a single satellite photo. Eva's maneuver. Her A-10 clearing the ridge, and the missile exploding against the rock, just feet away. The man closed the folder and placed a black patch on top of it. Valkyrie Squadron. A new, experimental unit. A-10s only. Our job is to operate where no one else can. We don't recruit the top of the class from the academy. We recruit the survivors of Hell's Gate. Eva took the patch. She was the only survivor. When do I fly again? For the first time, the man smiled. Your new Warthog is already waiting. Fresh shark teeth. GAU-8 loaded. We were just waiting for you. 2 weeks later, a matte black A-10 taxied down the runway. The word Valkyrie painted on its fuselage. Eva was in the titanium tub. Her breathing calm. Valkyrie, ready for takeoff. Copy, Valkyrie. The sky is yours. Make that Warthog sing. The TF-34s roared. The A-10 launched into the blue. Not fast. Not graceful. But unstoppable. This story teaches us that sometimes, to do the right thing, you have to be willing to break the rules. Have you ever had to challenge conventions to help someone? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like and share it. And if you feel like it, use the hype feature to give us a bigger voice. Subscribe for more stories that will move you. Thanks for making it this far. Until the next story.